Houston, we have a problem. There she is in all her glory, my royal blue Crown Vic. Hi everybody and welcome to Photomikes Garage. Okay, so today I'm going to take a little walk around my new Crown Vic. I got it a couple of weeks ago, but it's been snowing, and it's been cold. So I haven't got out here. Since it's such a nice, beautiful sunny day, I'm going to take a walk around and see what I've got and see what I'm going to have to do to make this car better. First of all, let's take a walk around the outside. Hazy headlight, common thing. I've already got headlights on order, no problem at all. Those are pretty easy to replace and relatively cheap. And you can see we got lots of battle scars on this car. It shows up on the blue. A lot of this is going to come right out. Going to polish this, bring out a lot of the bad stuff. A lot of this is going to come out and not be as visible, but it's still going to have its scars. That's the charm of this car. I want to keep some of those battle scars because that's the history of this car. Okay, we got snow tires. Most of the cars up here in Canada come with snow tires. Most of the cars I bought always came with snow tires, even when I bought them in the summertime. So it's possible that they run snow tires all year long on these cars. I don't know, but we got snow tires. They're not new, but they're not bad. Rusty rims, that's very standard. Easy fix. I got great paint that's going to make these shine black. This car has all its police interceptor hubcaps. That's becoming a big deal because last time I looked, they're $60 each on eBay. So it's good that it has all four. And I can feel that these are brand new brake rotors. Brand new. That means new rotors, new pads at the front. Excellent. Awesome. And we checked for our first rust area. Because the rocks hit this fender right here from the front tire, this is often where you have a nice bit of rust happening. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's no rust there at all. There's a few paint chips, but there's no rust. This is solid. We got a nice windshield here, and I've already driven the car a little bit, and there's no cracks, there's no chips. That is a bonus. They're almost always chipped. We got a lot of battle scars right here. I think this is where the criminals hit the car the first time when they're cuffing them, or maybe it's over here. Look how bad this is. This is just terrible. Look at these scratches. But you know, my fingernails doesn't really catch on them. I think this is going to polish out. I don't know, it looks really bad, but I'll be curious to find out when I got better weather if I can polish these out. Of course, it's 2008, so it advertises that it does take E85. So this is a dual flex fuel vehicle. Let's look down here. We got a rusty rim. This is the second area of rust, and there is no rust. Okay, another great thing about this car, as you can see, there's no holes in the trunk. Usually the marked cars that I get from the RCMP have at least 2 holes right here for antennas, and they have 3 to 4 holes on the roof. Let's take a look at the roof here. Yeah, we have just 2 holes that have been plugged with Canadian quarter and Canadian quarter. Wow. You see, I'm already making money with this deal. I've already made 50 cents here. So this is what you would call a detective car, an unmarked Vancouver police car. It served in the Vancouver police for many years, and therefore it does not have a lot of decals on it. It doesn't have a lot of reflective tape, and it doesn't have a lot of holes. Makes the whole job a lot easier. I can see that we have a couple of cuts in the rear bumper. A little bit of touch-up paint might hide that. And of course, we're going to cut polish this whole thing. This is where the police interceptor badge went. And the Ford emblem is looking pretty tired. I can replace that. I've got those. And oh no. Okay, so some of our trim is broken. You can see this is what it's supposed to look like. And it broke off right here, the cover. So I will have to find another rear piece. These come off easy, so we'll have to see what we can find. The rear tail lamps are not cracked. They got scratches, but they're not cracked. These are often cracked. This is good. No cracks. And you can see this is the number of this car, the C8318. So that's the badge number of this car. And they scraped this off, which looks bad, but I'm pretty sure that's going to polish right out. Okay, so the underside of the rear of the car looks really good. All the tabs holding the fender onto the frame of the car are all not broken. That means no major hits in the back. Everything looks really good and dry. And that rear end down there, that is a 3.27 ratio rear end, which is cool about these cars. It has a 3.27 ratio, so it gives good acceleration. Got a scrape here and a slight dent here, and no rust here. Fantastic. The rear brakes are definitely not new, so I'll have to check those. They're usually, I mean, the pads are usually fine. They do really good maintenance on brakes on these cars up here, so I'm not worried about them, but I'm gonna check them. Oh, but we got a dent. This is the biggest dent that I've found so far, and it's not that bad at all, considering. I do notice the hood sits proud, so maybe just an adjustment is in order on that. And it's okay on this side. And the shut lines look good all across here and here. So if it wasn't any kind of accident, it's been repaired very well. Everything looks very original. Oh, that's weird. There's a strange little crease right in the hood right here. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. That is strange. I don't know why. Now that crease, whatever caused that, could have also caused this to lift up a little bit. I don't know. And then we have the classic front end of the Crown Vic. Black grille, looking mean. You can see the C8318 badge number, and they ground off. This one had a push bar. As you can see, the holes here. You can see the metal coming out here from the bracket, and there's metal in here from the bracket. And they just grinded that metal off. They didn't unbolt it, so it's still bolted inside, but they ground it off. And here, they just put a little bit of duct tape over it. I have no idea why they would bother doing that. Another push bar could be in the future of this car. Yeah, they would look great on this one. Every other Crown Vic I ever had was white. And I got nothing against white, and in a way, white was easier to fix or to hide mistakes on. This looks good though. I am so happy to have this color of this car. Okay, let's take a quick look inside the trunk. Then we'll do the interior. Huge trunk, absolutely huge. You can carry a whole family in here. And of course you have the fuel pump cut off, which is right behind here. This is an easy way for you to, like if you have an accident, this will sense the accident and shut off your fuel pump, which for safety, that's a great idea. But also you can shut it off yourself if you need to work on the fuel system in the future. But anyway, if your car gets into a minor fender bender, it won't start, reset the fuel pump relay right here. All right, I took all the trunk liners out just so I could look below them, because sometimes you find interesting things like flares, maybe some old rusty handcuffs, and maybe a sex toy or two, but no such luck. However, I did find this interesting module right here. It's been spliced into the rear tail lights. I wonder what that's for. Maybe that's just a flasher. They put a flasher in here. Anyway, so if anyone knows what this is, just let me know. Maybe I should remove it. I have no idea. Okay, let's look at the interior. Okay, always check the door pockets for, one time I found some shotgun shells in there, but nothing this time. This button is the rear trunk release for the driver. This is all in good shape. You can see that this is the lumbar control, and it's got one clip here and one clip here broken, so I have to replace that. Yeah, everything here is good. Seats are good. Everything is fine. There's no real problems on the interior of this car. It is missing the ticket light. I wish they wouldn't take those off. Why do they bother? I don't know. I'm looking for a ticket light. Those are hard to find, but I'd like to have one. Even the steering wheel is not bad. That's what's great about the Crown Vics. They take the abuse a lot better than the modern cars. The Chargers are always ripped right here because they have a leather or vinyl cover over this, but this is just straight vinyl all the way through, so it wears down, but it doesn't rip. Much better. I'm gonna start the car just to warm her up while I continue my inspection. Perfect. 160,000 kilometers, like I said before in an earlier video. No check engine lights, all good. But look what I found here. Yes, my other police cars never had this. This is a traction control button off. I guess the Vancouver police cars have this. You press this, there you go, traction control is off. Just like that. So, I mean, that can be useful. I can do burnouts now, maybe in this car, maybe not. And sometimes in snowy conditions, it's better to have traction control off. So it's nice to have that. That's my first car that's had that. Let me know how many of you guys have this on your police interceptors. Okay, one more thing about the back seat. This one's dirty, but everything's there. It was never removed, and there was no plastic prisoner seat put into this car because it's a detective car. So it's always been here. So it looks like it's all firmly in, but sometimes on my other police cars, the seat belts are not fully bolted in underneath the seat. So you should always take out your seat bottom and check it out. Let's see if this one's in or not. See, this one's loose. This one's loose. I can take this out, see? Okay, so always check underneath the seat. You might find something interesting. Once you get the seat out of the way, you can see whether or not your seat belts are bolted in, because I had a car where it was not bolted in and one where, or rather the nut was just on one thread. That can be very dangerous. So when you get these police cars, check your seat belts for safety. Wow, look at this. It's like a little tag. Does that say items weed? Items weed? And what does this say? I think this says items weed labeling for CSP. Can anyone tell me what CSP is? I have no idea. Are these labels that would go with evidence? And in this case, marijuana, the deadly weed. Okay, front passenger. Often the clips on these break, so they put in bolts holding it in place. That's not uncommon. Check the doors. No shotgun shells on this car. And this. Uh-oh. Do you guys see that? There's no bolt here. It's snapped off. That's another thing to check. Another safety item to check. Just like the seat belts in the back, you gotta check your bolts on your seats on both driver and passenger, because often when they remove equipment, these are rusted, they just break and they don't care. This is missing a bolt. The seat is dangerous. All right, so I think she's warmed up enough. Let's shut her off and have a look at the engine. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. There's one more thing that's wrong with this car. That is another safety item. No horn. Why? Yes, the mighty 4.6. Okay, not so mighty, but still a very reliable, interesting engine. So the horns are underneath this panel, which comes off pretty easy. Usually they're missing the clips, so you can just grab, pull, and there you go. Horns are usually here. There's the horns right there. They're connected with wiring, so I wonder what the problem is. Actually, I had a problem like this before, and what it is that they use the horn wiring to run a siren or some other device, and so they take the wiring off. Now, although the wiring is attached, you can see that there's a whole wiring harness in here that's made for the auxiliary lighting, and it's not connected to anything anymore. So they just leave the harnesses here. Got this whole harness here. And look at this, see? This goes to nothing. I got to get rid of all of this. And they just cut off the wires, leave them bare. That's not very cool. So I'm going to get rid of all of that. But if you follow this, you can see that it goes along to here. And the wires going to the horn are coming from this harness, which is not connected to anything. So of course the horns aren't working. So the original harness is right here. You can tell because they also have tape wrapped around it. And the original harness is right here, goes to the headlights, goes to the running light here, and it comes out, where does it come out? It comes out here. Okay, this is the original harness coming up here. You know what? This is what happened to me before. This is plugged into this auxiliary harness, which no longer is functional. So we're gonna unplug this. This is gonna plug into here. Trust me, trust me. See, that comes right out. This is going nowhere. And this will come right out. And if you look at these two plugs, can I get them together? Yeah, I can get them together. These are exactly the same plug. So this is the original wiring harness plug for the horns. It's supposed to plug into the horn right here, but it won't reach. You know why? Because, I don't know why, but they move it from its normal position, which is right here. You can see 2 holes and an open tab, and that's where this is supposed to go. So I've got to unbolt it from here, put it up here, connect up the connector, and do you think it's going to work? Let's find out. Just using an 8mm to loosen this off. Okay, got my horns mounted in what I think is the original position. So now let's take that connector that I think is the right one and just put it right on here, like so. And the moment of truth. Yes! I love it when a plan comes together. So another safety item fixed. Now let's take a look at the motor a little bit more. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but our coolant level has gone down. I filled this up when I first got the car. It's down. That's got me a little worried. Let's take a look around. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. Nice and dry. Nice and dry, because sometimes there's leaks from the coolant passage here, and this plastic manifold causes trouble, but everything's pretty dry right here. And on the driver's side, let's have a look. Right there. Can you see that black plastic? That's the actual manifold that actually connects into the rest of this black plastic here. That's a known failure point. The black plastic deteriorates, starts to leak. That's not good news. Could be bad. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do you see that shininess? That's water. I got a coolant leak. Yeah, that's definitely a coolant leak. And then if you look, yeah, there's more water down there. Guess you can't see, but yes, there's water going all the way down the side where all the injectors are, and see the water right back there. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay. And look, I can see water. Yeah. I can see water in the valley. It's leaking down. So this is the reason why the water is going down. What this means is that this entire manifold, this black plastic thing right here, has to be replaced because it's all one piece. If this is gone, I've heard of no real way to repair it. The only real proper thing to do is to replace the manifold. This is a known problem with the 4.6, but there's no reason to panic. Although it looks complicated, everything can be taken off, the manifold can be replaced, and that will solve the problem. And the good news is because this is a fairly common problem, a lot of people make these intake manifolds for the 4.6. You find them all over the web, all over Amazon, all over eBay. And I think you can get them for $100 US. Now I'm going to pay more. I'm going to pay the Canadian tax, so I'm going to be paying more, but still relatively cheap. The good news also is that I'm going to be able to do the job and show you how to do it. Not that I'm an expert by any means, but anyway, we can go through it together. All right, so there you go. A walk around, an investigation of my new Crown Vic, the things it needs, the things I'm going to do. I'm pretty excited to get all this work done and start driving this car, especially when spring comes. All right, thanks for watching Photomikes Garage. I will see you next time. Oh, and there's the leak on the ground as well. Yeah, okay. Okay. We'll take care of you. Don't worry, we'll take care of you.